Welcome to Cupid's Corner, where love stories come alive. Sit back, relax, and let the tales of romance sweep you off your feet.
The Last Dance. The rhythmic tap of her cane on the wooden floor echoed softly through the studio. Marisol paused at the front of the room, letting the familiar scent of polished wood and lavender fill her senses. At 62, her body still carried the grace of a dancer, though her muscles were a little less responsive and her joints more stubborn than they used to be. The injury that had taken her off the stage so many years ago still sent occasional reminders, but this studio, her small-town sanctuary, had become her new stage. The sunlight streamed in through the large windows, casting a golden glow on the empty room. She glanced at the clock. Her senior dance class would be starting soon. As she prepared the music, Marisol's thoughts drifted to the new student joining her class today. Tom. His daughter had called her, explaining that he'd been a bit lost since his wife's passing. He needs something to do, something to get him out of the house, she'd said, her voice tinged with concern. Marisol understood grief. The loss of a dream could be just as heavy as the loss of a loved one. She hadn't danced professionally in over 30 years, but it still stung, that moment she had to say goodbye to the one thing she loved more than anything. The sound of the door opening pulled her from her reverie, and she turned to see a tall, slightly weathered man with graying hair walk in. His shoulders were hunched, as if the weight of the world rested on them, but there was a quiet strength in the way he moved. Tom. Morning, he greeted her, his voice soft, almost shy. Good morning, Tom. Welcome to class. She smiled warmly, extending her hand. I'm Marisol. He took her hand gently, a flicker of nervousness in his eyes. I'll be honest with you, I've never danced a day in my life. That's okay. We all start somewhere. Dancing isn't about being perfect, it's about feeling something. And trust me, Tom, you'll feel something. The first few classes were a struggle. Tom's steps were stiff, his movements awkward, but Marisol never lost her patience. She saw more than his missed steps and clumsy rhythm, she saw a man trying to rediscover himself, just like she once had. As the weeks passed, Tom began to loosen up, his body slowly learning to trust the music. One afternoon, after class, Tom lingered by the door, watching the others leave. Marisol, noticing his hesitation, approached him. You're doing great, she said, leaning against the wall next to him. He chuckled, shaking his head. I'm not sure about that. But I'm starting to enjoy it. I didn't think I would. Dance has a way of surprising people, she replied. It's not just about moving your body. It's about letting go of everything else. Tom looked at her, his eyes softening. You make it seem so easy. Like the music just lives inside you. Marisol smiled, but there was a sadness behind it. It used to. I was a professional dancer, many years ago. You? He looked genuinely surprised. Yes. Before. She trailed off, gesturing to her leg. An injury ended it all. I've been teaching ever since. I'm sorry, he said softly, sensing the weight of her loss. Don't be. Life has a funny way of giving you new paths when you least expect them. Tom was silent for a moment, then cleared his throat. My wife used to love to dance. I never did, though. She always said I had 2 left feet. Marisol's smile returned. Maybe you just needed the right teacher. Their eyes met, and for a moment, something passed between them. It was brief, but it lingered, like the last note of a song hanging in the air. Tom shifted his weight and looked away. See you next week, Marisol. Over the next few months, something began to change between them. It was subtle at first, a shared glance, a lingering touch during a dance move, quiet conversations after class. Marisol found herself looking forward to Tom's presence in the studio, the way he slowly came alive with each new step he learned. He was no longer the hesitant, grief-stricken man who had first walked through her door. He was transforming, just as she had hoped. One afternoon, after a particularly challenging routine, Tom stayed behind again. But this time, he didn't hesitate to approach her. "I've been thinking," he began, rubbing the back of his neck. "About the recital you mentioned. I know it's probably too soon for me to perform, but maybe we could try." Marisol blinked, surprised. "You want to perform?" He nodded, a hint of determination in his eyes. "I think it's time I stop holding back. You've helped me more than you know, Marisol. I want to see how far I can go." Her heart swelled with pride, and something more, something unexpected. "I think that's a wonderful idea, Tom." They began practicing together, outside of class hours. Marisol choreographed a simple but elegant routine, something that would allow Tom to showcase his newfound confidence. Their time together became more than just practice. It was filled with laughter, stories, and moments of shared vulnerability. One evening, as they practiced alone in the studio, the soft strains of a waltz played in the background. Tom held Marisol close, his hand resting gently on her waist. Their steps moved in perfect harmony, their bodies swaying together as if they'd been dancing for years. As the music slowed, Tom's hand slid up to her back, drawing her even closer. Marisol's breath caught, her heart pounding in time with the music. "Marisol," Tom whispered, his voice low, his breath warm against her cheek. "I haven't felt like this in a long time." She looked up at him, her eyes searching his. "Like what?" "Alive," he said simply, his gaze never leaving hers. "You make me feel alive." Without thinking, Marisol lifted her hand to his face, her fingers gently tracing the lines of his jaw. And then, in one breathless moment, Tom lowered his lips to hers. The kiss was soft, tender, but it carried with it all the emotions they had kept hidden for so long. Marisol melted into him, her hands slipping around his neck as the kiss deepened. It wasn't hurried or frantic. It was slow, deliberate, a shared acknowledgement of the bond that had grown between them. When they finally pulled apart, Marisol rested her forehead against his, her eyes closed, her heart still racing. "I didn't expect this," she whispered. "Neither did I," Tom replied, his voice thick with emotion. "But I don't want to fight it." Marisol smiled, opening her eyes to meet his. "Neither do I." The night of the recital arrived, and the small community theater was buzzing with excitement. Friends, family, and neighbors filled the seats, eager to watch the seniors perform. Marisol stood backstage with Tom, their costumes simple but elegant. "You ready?" she asked, adjusting the collar of his shirt. Tom nodded, though there was a nervous energy about him. "I've never done anything like this." "You'll be great," she reassured him, squeezing his hand. "Just trust yourself." "Trust me." The music began, and they stepped onto the stage. As the first notes filled the air, Marisol and Tom moved together, their bodies in perfect sync. The audience watched in awe as they performed a breathtaking routine, an emotional and graceful waltz that told a story of love, loss, and rediscovery. For Marisol, it wasn't just about the dance. It was about opening her heart again, about allowing herself to feel joy, to embrace the possibility of love after so many years of solitude. And for Tom, it was about letting go of the past, of the grief that had weighed him down for so long. As they moved across the stage, their connection deepened, their movements more fluid, more intimate. When the final note played, they held each other in a tight embrace, breathing heavily but smiling. The audience erupted into applause, and as they stood there, holding hands in the spotlight, Marisol felt a warmth in her chest that she hadn't felt in decades. Tom turned to her, his eyes shining with emotion. "You were amazing," he whispered. "So were you," she replied, her heart swelling with pride and love. As they walked off the stage, hand in hand, Marisol knew that this was just the beginning. The beginning of a new chapter in both their lives, filled with dance, laughter, and the kind of love that could heal even the deepest wounds. And in that moment, Marisol realized something: life, much like dance, was about more than just the steps. It was about the connection, the joy, and the willingness to open your heart to the possibility of something beautiful. The end.
Thank you for listening. Let's spread the love. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. because everyone deserves a bit of romance.